Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel again. I hope you are having a great summer. Today we're going to discuss a very different topic, probably not much with the code, but it is somewhat tied with an alternative to the coding. Okay, if you're not familiar with my channel, I would suggest please go ahead and look at some of my videos. Especially take a look at my very first video that I created that deals with how to create a employee vaccination management system. I can go here and you can see it. The very first video that I did was this one. And I literally, after that, showed step by step how to create kind of like a crude application that deals with employee vaccination management, starting from creating a database all the way up to putting it into the cloud and using like Java, Hibernate, Spring, and TimeLeaf, a new framework. Anyway, so there was a lot of coding, of course, if you're interested in learning coding. But what I'm going to do today is I'll show you that you can create something similar, not exactly same, without any coding. Yeah, without any coding. If you hate coding, this is probably for you. All right, first of all, let me show you how that application looks like actually. So if you actually go to this site, evmsall.herokuapp.com, and I'm going to put this link out in the description below so that you can kind of go there. Once you go to that site, this is what you should see, a login screen. So there's two types of user that can log in through this application. One is the admin user. The admin user has access to pretty much everything. They can change everything and they can also add other users. And there's normal users that actually can log in to just view certain data. Now, of course, as you could see, you can also log in using any of these authentication. That was also part of it. But this is basically how it looks like. If you log in as an admin, and I'm going to log in, and it gives you some nice dashboard telling you exactly.
Welcome to Minica's email.
Increase the sound.
August 5th, 2022, 10:48 a.m. As of now, 55% of our employees are not vaccinated yet or single anti-malarial.
Okay, so it gives you this kind of nice dashboard, and you can literally go look at like who are not vaccinated. Click on this pie chart chunk here, and it will give you exactly who are those people. And you could literally go through any of these other features here, like see list of vaccine types, and employees, and you can do search and all kinds of things. But anyway, take a look at that video, and you'll see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the data for this application and show you without coding how to create quick crude applications. So let's get started. So basically what you want to do is go to this site, apex.oracle.com. What this is basically Oracle's way of telling you that, hey, come here and look at our tool, try our tool, and see if you like it. So after you come here, you go ahead, click on Get Started for free. And what I would suggest is you request a free workspace. So what that does is it's going to ask you stuff like what's your name, first name, last name, and email. And what's the name of your workspace that you want. You can pretty much type anything that you want. You can call it My Workspace, in which country you're from, and do next. And basically, it'll tell you that it's under review, and they're going to send you an email once your request has been approved. Most of the time, as far as I know, they will just approve it right away. There is no reason not to, because they want you to try this. And once it's approved, it take, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes. You should get an email that looks something like this. Request has been approved, and it will tell you this whatever workspace name that you used, and your username would be your email address. And this is where you would click to go start your journey, basically, to try things. So once you get the email with the approval, you would click on the link that is on the email. That will take you to a site like this, which is nothing but where you would be able to log in with your workspace name that you used, with your username, which would be typically your email address. I've created another user. Other than that, that's why I have a different username. And then you would use a password that you use initially. You just say sign in. After sign in, that'll take you to a screen like this. It's nothing but basically this is your playground. This is your workspace where you could build an application, you can interact with the database, do all kinds of interesting things without any code or very low code. Today, I'm not going to write any code. I'll just show you how to do this without any coding. Okay, so there's a lot of things here, but I'm just going to touch base with very simple things that I would need at this moment for me to basically build a crude application. The very first thing you would see is App Builder. This is, of course, you go there to build an application, and SQL Workshop is basically where you would go and do your thing with SQL and database and all that business. So I'm going to go start with the database. So I'm going to go click on SQL Workshop. And of course, I have some existing tables, but I'm going to create some new tables because I mentioned to you that I'm going to try to build something like this employee vaccination management. So I have the data, and if you have the data in an Excel sheet or in a comma separated value file, it is very helpful. You can pretty much build stuff fairly easily. So I would go to utilities. I need to get the data, and I go to data workshop. I need to import the data, and I'm going to say load data. And then you can literally import from a CSV file. So I have this data sitting in, and this is actually vaccination types. There's vaccination, there's their employee and employee vaccination, all kinds of data that I have here. I'm going to start with the very simple vaccination type. So say open. And it automatically knows based on your CSV file what are the columns you have. As you can see, I have an ID, I got a name, I got a description, creation date, creation by, last updated by. So it knows exactly what are the columns are, and all you have to do is say what tables you want it to be in. So I'm going to call that vaccine type and say load data. And it did load the data, and watch, as soon as it loaded the data, then it knows that I have 5 rows, and you can literally start with create an application from here. Okay, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll show you there's different ways of doing this. You can literally build an application out of this thing, this plain simple CRUD application. But anyway, I will defer that for now, and then let's load some more data. So I'm going to go ahead I'm going to load the vaccine, employee vaccine, registered users, all of that. So bear with me. Okay, with the same process, as you could see, I have uploaded all of these data. It automatically created these tables, the highlighted one, registered user, employee vaccine, vaccine types. Now that I have the data, I could go straight to the app builder, and I'm going to build an application. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead, click on this create, and then I'm going to say this is a new application, and then I'm going to go ahead, put the application name, employee vaccination management system, and leave everything default. I'm not going to choose any of the other stuff in here, and you can add all of this thing, but don't worry about that. Just go ahead and click on create, and there you go. There's my application right now, and it's a plain vanilla. I don't have anything. You can run it to see how it looks. It will give you, of course, a login prompt automatically, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. Number, username, sign in, date that, and it's just plain simple. As you can see, it's just got a home page, nothing else, and it's got a logout, which is fine. Let's go ahead and modify that. Okay, so coming back to our development page, we're going to go change this home and turn it into a dashboard. So let's go ahead and click on that. Right now, as you know, it only has just a title. So we're going to go to this body, and I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to say create region. But more interestingly, I think I would rather have say that I'm going to go create a chart. So a better way to do it is I'm going to go ahead, drag and drop this into this body right here, that I want to have a chart because I want to create a dashboard. It automatically created whatever it needs to create, so I'm going to go ahead and start naming them. This very first thing is basically a chart region. So right here, the first thing I'm going to go is go to this attribute section, change that to a pie chart because that's what I had on my other application, and call this employee vaccination status. Sounds good to me. Go back to the region, change that to say employee vaccination status. And the location is basically asking what would be the source of your data. Of course, it's a local database. I already uploaded some data. And I'm going to go ahead and choose, I can either choose any of the tables. I already created a view. That view literally mimics what's the vaccine count. So I'm going to choose that. And then out of that, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm done with this. Then let's go to the actual series. This is where you get to put the actual fields that's going to show up in the chart. So again, start with change the name to employee vaccination status. It's going to be the local database, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that view, vaccine count, and then go ahead, scroll down, and of course all of these red basically means you have to fill it out. I can leave the series name as is, or you can choose whatever you wanted to choose. Well, you can choose the name, that's fine with me. And then for the label, of course, the label we want it to be called the name because we want to show what vaccination that is there that people have taken or not taken. And then there's an aggregation because I'm already doing the sum in the query, in the view. So in the value, I'm going to go ahead and choose the vaccination count because I want to see how many number of people that has vaccines or not. And custom tooltip, of course, I could choose name. One more thing I'm going to go ahead and change and say label. Here, the label actually, instead of doing display as label, I'm going to say display as label dash percent and value, so to be more descriptive. And that's about it. I'm not making any more changes, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now if you have not filled out anything properly, it will give you an error, but it looks like everything looks good. Let's go ahead and run this guy. There you go, and voila, I get to see this nice chart, and it shows me these are the people. 55% has not been vaccinated, so this data looks the same, and all of these things are different vaccines that people have taken. Like there's 47 employee that has taken this vaccine and all that. So pretty simple, isn't it? Done. Let's go and extend it a little bit more. So I'm fine that I got this dashboard. Now I'm going to add some more pages to it. So you would go back to the application builder, of course, and then here you're going to start with create page. I'm going to go with create page, and there's all bunch of options. You can even create another chart or dashboard and all kinds of things. I'm going to just create a simple crude application based on one of the tables. Okay, so the best thing to do would be, I would choose interactive grid. This is basically what you could do with the data. It literally gives you crude search everything. Interactive grid, next, and here you could say, what do you want to call it? Well, I'm going to call it employee, because I'm going to do it based on employee. And then I don't have to include a form page, because that would just bring another modal. I don't want that. I wanted to do it as part of the grid, edit the data, I mean. And then source type is table, absolutely fine, and you can choose what table that you're looking for. I want it to be based on the employee table. And editing label, absolutely, and then I click next. And then of course the primary key column is ID. And actually choose that as a column, and I don't need to put a second primary key, so this is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and say create page. And as simple as that, it actually created everything for me. If I want to go back to my application, you'll see now my application has a home and an employee. I don't have to do anything. It's already got a login. Watch this. If I go run this now, of course now I got this a nice employee page, and I can actually edit any of these columns, and this is coming out of the state from the data. And I could even duplicate row, add a new row, change it. Like I can select this and say click edit, then I can start changing stuff in here, and it will automatically work, and I can even search for anything that I wanted to search. And then I can, now I have two menu, I automatically get this. See, home page, I still have the dashboard, and then I have the employee. So pretty neat. Then I'm gonna go ahead and have more fun, and I will go ahead and add another page. So here's my application, and then go create another page based on vaccine. So this time I'm also going to choose interactive grid, another one, or you can even choose report if you want to, if you just wanted to read only. So I'm going to choose another interactive grid just to show you another one. Then I'm going to call it vaccine. And then of course table, all these are local. I'm going to say editing label. This would be based on the vaccine. And then I'm going to select next. Of course I'm going to change the primary key to the ID and create a page. And it should be done. And now I have, if I go back to my application, as you can see, I got home, employee, vaccine. So I can run it, and you will see all of them would show up. So there's vaccine, and everything is the same. Now I have crude application, including my dashboard, home. Then I have employee. I can change the data, and vaccine. So as you can see, it's pretty neat and pretty easy to create. Now, it's all nicely said. But the catch is, of course, you're doing it in the Oracle workspace. You can't do it as a production. So licensing involved, if you really wanted to do it for production, you're gonna have to buy a license from Oracle basically. So yeah, it's nice that you could do all this, but there are some other aspects of it that you have to think about when you're using this tool for production. But again, my goal was to show you how to create fairly complex application pretty easily without any code. However, let me warn you about one more thing. This is all nice and good that you could build these applications fairly quickly, but do know that yes, it is data driven and it's very monolithic. Maintenance of the application using this type of tool can be a nightmare. For instance, very simple thing. Let's say you wanted to change this logout. Good luck finding exactly what that is. You really have to dig into the entire thing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you don't have much control over a lot of things. It gives you a lot of things vanilla as is. So yes, it's a nice tool to create a very simple CRUD applications fairly quickly and maybe a little customization. But if you really want to do a lot of customization, this is not the tool that you want to use, because customizing can be a nightmare depending on what you're trying to do. So just thought I would want to put that out there. So if this video has added any value to your skill set, please do like it and subscribe to my channel for more and more content like this. Thanks a lot. Bye now.